Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name's Mike Amos, hoping that you're doing well this morning on a Thursday as we move right along in the month of July. It's the 19th day of July, and of course, you folks wanting to get on the night train to Troy, you better start jumping on because that's getting to be quite an event coming to Troy Country Club this on Friday and Saturday, the 27th and 28th of July. It's called Reunion 2018, and of course it recognizes the Troy Trojans from Troy High to Charles Simpson High School from the grades of 1950 to 1973, and of course you can call me on my cell phone anytime. If you'd just like to find out more information about it, we'd love to talk to you. Area code 334-372-2001. Of course, we're heading right along. Of course, the second semester at Troy will be closing in on us pretty soon. Then football practice at Troy and high schools across the country will be coming up right at August the 1st, and I talked to Coach Hughes, Coach Brown just recently, and he is going to be busy right up to the start of football practice. This guy right here, I don't know what he's going to do or when he's going to do it, but this guy right here is the talk of football, and his name is Nick Saban, and Saban is talking to media days today, and boy, he'll lambast them. You know, he wants to get along with them, but at the same time, he tells them off every time he gets around them. So, you know, he thinks that they'll just walk away and be just completely in awe of him. But some of these guys will lay it on him pretty good, and you know, they don't put him on the pedestal that like a lot of folks do. He's not the most popular guy in the world when you're around him a lot. That's what people tell me. He's constantly on top of people, and you know, he gets results. So a real good. If you're on Facebook, gosh, go to it and see all these stories about Bear Bryant. About Joe Namath and Kenny Stabler, and I'm gonna tell you, it was outstanding. And if you like Alabama, you like Alabama sports history, you ought to ought to go to the Facebook today and see all the wonderful programs they've got for especially recognizing Alabama football, from Joe Namath from his childhood to winning the Super Bowl with the Jets, and of course Coach Paul Bryant from Fordyce, Arkansas, to winning all the championships in Alabama, and Kenny Stabler, another great program with him. Go to Facebook, and I promise you can read some great stuff about Alabama football and the history behind it. Of course, on a sad note, ladies and gentlemen, I lost a very dear friend of mine on Tuesday, Motney Williford Burkett, one of my favorite people on this earth. Went to live with our Lord and Savior on Tuesday. What a courageous, graceful, just a wonderful woman, Motney Lindsay Burkett Williford, or Williford, Motney Williford, let's call her by a maiden name. So many people know about her maiden name, but what a wonderful person she was. She lived with diabetes most all of her life. She's a very lovely lady. She was a majorette at Old Charles Henderson High School, and had a beautiful family and two wonderful children, and taught school and loved her students, and everybody wondered where she got all of this toughness. You know, she was not a real big person. She was a beautiful lady, and but she always kept winning the battle. Every time she'd have a hard time, she'd fight through it, and she'd be on her feet and out with her friends the next day. And she lived her life as full as she possibly could, and the people that are watching today that loved her know exactly what I'm talking about. There were very few people to compare with Montney Burkett, and kind of person she was, and the tough person she was. And you know, I was thinking about her late last night, and I said, what made Montney Williford Burkett so tough and so positive and so good to everybody? And I'll tell you what it was. First of all, her faith in God, no question about her faith in God, and grew up a great Presbyterian, and then moved around different churches. She loved the Lord with all her might, and then the other thing I could think of, she was a Williford. And nobody knows the Willifords any better than I do. I grew up with them, and her brother, Sonny, one of my very best friends on this earth, and he was with Montney and served Montney and looked after his older sister for many years up until her death. And nobody was more loyal to supporting and helping one of his brothers or sisters out like Sonny Williford. But the Willifords are proud people. They've been proud people all as long as I've ever known them. They're a huge family here in Troy, and a lot of them we're losing. A lot of them. Richard, one of my best friends on this earth. Sonny, of course, is still living, but Richard, we lost him a couple of years ago. Suzanne and gosh. It's just been tough to see these great people leave us, but at the same time, they were so tough and so proud, and they kept each other going. It was a great family unit, still is today. And Jeff Jones, we lost him not long ago. Kenny Carter, all a part of the Williford clan, and Jerry Jones, and Harold Jones, and gosh, I could go on and on and on. Of course, you know, we hate to see them go, but at the same time, we're just so glad we knew them. And for you Willifords out there this morning, and I know it's a lot of you out there, we're thinking about you, and prayers are with you, and we know that through your faith and through your family unit, y'all will, this will be a wonderful, wonderful going away for this great lady, Montney Williford Burkett, today. And I know people out there today that didn't know that we lost her. We lost her on Tuesday, and she'll be buried on Friday from Green Hills Memorial Park. And I think the actual funeral will be at 4 o'clock, and the visitation will be 2 hours or more before then. So I think of all these friends of mine that I grew up with that were a member of this great family. You know, they've had a tough time. They lost Hebert recently, Hebert Williford, who was living in Pensacola, a long time teacher down there, and it's just, sometimes it's just hard to take when you lose people that you love, and I'm sure they're all working together through this to see that Montney will be sent off in a great way, and I know she will be. And we again, our prayers and our thoughts go out to all of you out there that love the Lord and love their family, and that family unit will go on and on and on. The Williford family, one of the great families in the history of Troy, Alabama. We'll be right back.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
Come see us at Don Walker Western Wear. From boots, jeans, and jackets to shirts, hats, and belts, we're your headquarters for Western wear for the entire family. With the largest selection of jeans in town, we carry famous brands like Wrangler, Levi, Carhartt, Ariat, and Cinch. We've also got plenty of styles of boots to choose from, including Justin, Lucchese, Ariat, Tony Lama, Red Wing, Dan Post, and Corral. So come on in to Don Walker Western Wear, located on Highway 231 in Troy.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of us.
Back to our show, brought to you by Wise Office Supply on South Brundage Street, right here in Troy, and of course, great friends of mine, and Lane and Lyle, and the rest of the crew there for office furniture, office business supplies, school supplies, office furniture. A great selection at Wise Office Supply today. Good picture in the Messenger today, the cutting edge. Larry Dunn, owner of Dunn's True Value in Troy, displayed a Husqvarna auto mower for sale in Troy at his store. The mower is one of several machines sold in stores that cut grass by itself without needing a user or an invention. Usually and simply said that the device scheduled for mowing each day, the machine goes on and on and on by itself, and it even redocks what they say itself to recharge. And Dunn had been showing off one of these innovative devices recently. But you know what? If we didn't mow grass, how would we get our exercise? I mean, there's so many people out there need some exercise, and if they don't mow grass, how are they going to do it other than walk around the block, and it's too hot to walk around the block? I want to mention this, and this is great news for Pike County schools. Ladies and gentlemen, hear this. All students in the Pike County school system will have an opportunity to receive breakfast and lunch at no charge during the 2018-2019 school year. We are super excited to see this program enter our schools and the results of it, said Brooke Terry, child nutrition specialist for the Pike County School. Schools are eligible for the community eligibility provision meal program when at least 40% of the students are directly certified. So if you have at least 40% that are directly certified, this year will be the pilot year for the program and see how it works. But that's a wonderful thing. Students will go through the same process to get their lunches, and the steel punch in their lunch pin numbers. It will simply be charged or no charge to them. Well, it will be no charge to them. The program also eliminates the need for parents to fill out the free and reduced household meal application. So it's wonderful news for Pike County schools that their students, and I think this is all their students, will be able to receive breakfast and lunch free of charge this school year. I want to mention a few others. The Pike County Attorney Alan Jones said recently that the schools are in the process of choosing between final candidates for county administrator, and so hopefully that will be happening very soon. They do have some candidates. The commission voted on that the hire on June the 21st, and at the vote, the commissioners Jimmy Barron, Homer Wright, and Charlie Harris put their support behind Dr. LaCarrie Mack, Troy University professor and president of the board for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Troy. Other three commissioners voted against hiring Mack, and instead want to vote for hiring Mackenzie Wilson as the interim personnel director. So we'll be talking more about that. We'll watch that closely. Taking a look inside the Messenger today, and a very precious little girl. Her name is Chloe Jones. She's just 4 years old, and she will compete in the National Miss American Royalty U.S. pageant in July the 19th through the 22nd. That's this weekend in Orlando. Sholey won the Tiny Miss Alabama title on May the 6th. So that's something we'll be watching. Good article in here about Montney Williford Burkett, and she was 74 years old, and of course she taught for many years in the Pike County system and the Goshen school system. And of course she was a member of the First United Methodist Church. And her funeral again will be held today at 4 o'clock from the chapel of Green Hills Funeral Home, with the Reverend Steve Whitten officiating. The Green Hills carriage will take Montney to her graveside for burial. And again, our prayers and our thoughts go out to that family, the Williford, the Griffin family, and so many people that are related to the to Montney. Our prayers and our thoughts go out to them this morning. Also, I want to mention a few other things going on. We've got Wesley Person, the great basketball player from Brantley, has signed a professional basketball contract with the Roseto Sharks in Italy's Series A2 league. The Brantley native announced that on Wednesday, so congratulations to that great young man, Wesley Person. Boy, that's good coffee this morning. Need another cup. Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Mike Amos calling in from the big city. What's going on up there?
Not much. Of course, SEC Media Days is wrapping up. The British Open started this morning. Kevin Kisner shot a 66 in his 5-under.
Boy.
I think a guy from Georgia would go over there, and not a lot of experience at all, like we mentioned with Will Matthews. Play one of the best rounds of the tournament. I don't know if any guys will shoot 66 the rest of the way.
Well, the thing is it's probably no breeze in the morning and all kinds of breeze in the afternoon, wouldn't you think? Makes it a lot tougher golf course.
I would think the morning would be a little bit better.
Thank you so much. We got our top gun in here this morning, ladies and gentlemen. The son of the late, great Jake Doty. And he former right or left-handed pitcher at Charles Henderson High School.
Right. My mother told me she could only get 2 people for that cheerleaders.
Wonderful. Well, that's great. And that's, of course, Libby Doty. Man, what happened to you? Man, what happened to you? You know, your mom and daddy were such great people. What happened to you? Of course, we want to mention the Charles Henderson. Mike Emmons is on the line. And Mike, want to mention something here. Another honor for Brock Snyder of Goshen High School. He will represent the Eagles in the Alabama High School Athletics Association North-South All-Star Game this evening in Montgomery at Crampton Bowl. So that's going to be part of your big coaching clinic. Is that right?
Yeah, I saw that. That's a great honor for him. I didn't realize that until I actually saw something on Facebook about it.
Yeah, I watched him play that last ball game of his senior year, and he is quite an athlete. You know, he of course a coach's son, and I know his dad's awfully proud of him. But you know, he's a positive guy. He's smart. He handles himself very well, and is a lot faster and quicker than he looks. Because he's so tall, you know.
You know, it's one of those things. He's going to be playing in Montgomery, you know, for Faulkner. So great experience for him. Great experience for his family.
Mike, I know, you know, a lot of people are saying, who is this Montney Williford Burkett? What a lady she was, Mike.
Yeah, she was a really sweet lady, and our thoughts and prayers go out to Duncan and Rachel this morning, and of course Sonny, and you know, the whole Williford family, and you know, really sad, you know, to hear about that yesterday, and talked to a lot of friends, and you know, everybody was sad to hear about it.
Well, you know, that family tie is huge in the Williford clan, I tell you. One of the great families of all time, and Montney was a big part of it, and you know, those guys keep coming through, and they're all great people.
Well, it's one of those things, you know, I know the, you know, the city of Troy, and everybody will rally around and support that family, and you know, it's a tough time right now, but I'm sure they'll remember the good times, you know, here in the next few days.
Yeah, no question about it. They'll honor in so many different ways. Youth camp is going on at Charles Henderson High School. The varsity volleyball coach, Sonny Kirkpatrick, is heading into his second season, and they're having a camp at Charles Henderson High School going on right now. And also Mike Wesley Person has signed a contract to play in Italy, and that's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like it's not their top league, but it's like I think like a kind of like one league down from their top league, which is good for Wesley. You know, I mean, I think he'll make, you know, probably $100,000, $200,000 playing over there, which is probably good.
Oh yeah, and see the world, see the beautiful country.
It's one of those things where I think that's what you'll see from him. You know, I mean, I don't know if he'll ever get a shot in the NBA, but I think you'll see him play several years over there and make a great living.
Well, I'll tell you what they're going to see is if he's not in the first round, you know, the top group over there, they're in A1 instead of A2, or he goes in as an A2 player. They're going to have to cover him close, and if they don't cover him close, he's going to shoot lights out.
That's why I always thought that maybe he would have a chance in the NBA.
Right.
If he has an open shot, he's going to make it.
Oh yeah, he's a
he's got a hand in his face. He has a hard time, you know, getting his.
That's right. He sure does. He's not the fastest player in the world, but he averaged for his career 16 points. That's one of the best ever at Troy, Mike.
Well, he's the all-time leading scorer in Troy history.
Yeah, and of course that average of 16 points over a 4-year period. Of course, additionally, he had career highs of points per game. I think he was 17.8 his final season. But again, we wish him the best of luck. Devin Bell was one of the Goshen players selected to play in the All-Star game tonight. Man, if I didn't have my little
that's a real mystery there. He's a kid, I think, that's on Western Kentucky. I would say if you could sign with Western Kentucky, play at Western Kentucky, you could probably play at Troy, I would think.
No question. And I don't know.
I would think Western Kentucky and Troy's programs are pretty close. I mean, Troy's really good right now, and Western Kentucky's been really good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're right. He has already committed to, he's already signed with Western Kentucky, and I tell you what.
It's a great little town, though. He'll enjoy it up there. I've been up there a few times. It's really nice.
Well, if you like Corvettes especially, is that right?
Yeah, it's where Bowling Green is.
And that's where the
capital of the world.
That's the Corvette capital of the world, no question about it. I want to mention Roman Harper was here yesterday, Mike, and from Prattville, plays in the pros now, and
no, he's actually retired now.
Oh, he is. Well, he's a former standout at Alabama, and of course is putting on a youth camp. Looks like he had a big crowd, and it's great to see these guys come back and give back to their hometown.
Well, you know, his brother played at Troy. His brother was named Ronald Harper.
That's right. You're right.
So he was a pretty good linebacker for Troy. But yeah, Harper had a great career. He played for the Saints pretty much all his career, and then played 1 year with Carolina. And he made a lot of money. He was in the NFL for a long time. Big news at the SEC coaches meetings yesterday. Nick Saban, you know, was asked several times about who the quarterback's going to be, and Hurts, and you know, Tua Tagovailoa, and you know, Saban, of course, you know, didn't, you know, answer the question like everybody wanted him to answer. But I think he, you know, is hoping that Jalen Hurts is going to stick around and be there for that first game. And I think the more you hear from the national media and this new rule that red shirts can play up to 4 games, I think that's going to really help Alabama, because even if Hurts does get beat out, you know, plays in these first 4 games, and you know, Tua becomes the starter, Hurts is such a smart student. He's scheduled to graduate in 3 years in December. So if he only plays in 4 games, he can graduate in December and have 2 years.
Boy, he is smart.
Play
You're
immediately.
Right.
Which is the biggest thing out there, really. I mean,
exactly.
For him to be able to go play 2 years immediately. Trust me, everybody in the country is going to want a guy like Hurts. I mean, even though he can't throw like Tua can, you know, yesterday Gary Danielson was on, and he really compares Tua as far as his sense in the pocket and his arm velocity and the way he can, you know, get throws into tight, you know, areas and stuff like that. He compares him to Drew Brees, and you know who else he compared it to? His ball to? Kenny Stabler.
Does he really? Why, he throws a tight spiral or what?
Yeah, like Stabler. Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah, they call it spin. Want to mention
also Anthony Jennings, who got hurt. Great game against Clemson. Blows out his ACL. You know, he's 100% back at defensive end, which is great news considering Alabama lost Terrell Harris. Not Terrell Harris, but Terrell Lewis to an ACL injury a few weeks ago in the offseason. So Jennings will be a big factor for Alabama on that defense as far as the pass rush goes. Also, Damian Harris, you know, talked about how he could have been a late second to third round pick, and now, you know, he's projected to be a first round pick going into the draft next year. And you know, a lot of people didn't think he was going to come back, but that's another great, you know, thing for Alabama fans, is having Damian Harris back at running back.
No question about it. We got a little color contrast on our show today. Hope our picture coming out to you doesn't look like the picture coming out to me right now. We'll be right back with more of Today in LA.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how, Napa know-how.
The new Smokehouse Pizza from Little Caesars is our first pizza with 3 smoked meats. So we got barbecue champion Big Mo Quezon to test it out. 8-hour smoked brisket.
Certified beefified.
10-hour smoked pulled pork.
Certified hoggified.
Applewood smoked bacon.
Certified baconfied.
Drizzled with tangy barbecue sauce plus a Smokehouse seasoned crust.
Certified smokified.
The new Smokehouse Pizza. Only $9 and only at Little Caesars.
Down to sleep. Back to our show. We're glowing a little bit today. I've got a purple shirt on and it looks blue. But that happens sometimes. We want to mention, ladies and gentlemen, football season at your favorite high school is just around the corner. And right now they're finishing up jamborees. Charles Simpson participated in a huge jamboree at Hoover, Mike, up against some of the best in the country.
I don't think they probably won much, but it's good.
That's right, but it was real good. Real good.
I'll be honest with you, that's a little bit above their competition when they're coming up there and playing, the Hoovers and a bunch of other 6A schools. But I guess Brad wants to go against the best. A lot of expectations for Charles Henderson this year. You gotta find a way to win more games. You gotta find a way to advance into the playoffs. I know a lot of Charles Henderson fans are hoping this will be the year that they can get through the first round and get to the second round and maybe the third round. But it's going to be tough. There's a lot of good teams in that area. They're going to have to go up against.
Yeah. I want to mention our good friends at Beds Express on the bypass right here in Troy. And boy, you want to save some money on your bedding, and they've got beauty rest right now. You can save $1,000 on. They've got these free sleep. Hey darling, good morning. Got these free sleep trackers for sale today. So drop by bedsexpress.com or go to
Beds Express, is that what, next Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, and they do a great job, and we appreciate them being a part of our show. I want to mention our good friends at Piggly Wiggly, Mike, and here we go. We get this and you don't. Let's see. Let me see what we got here. But Piggly Wiggly, and anytime you can buy 2 packs of bacon for $5, jump all over it and try to buy as much as you can, because bacon is not cheap. But I will say this: they've got Springer Mountain Fresh Whole Fryers, 99 cents a pound. They've got fresh small pork spare ribs, and they are delicious, $1.78 a pound. They've got ground beef, $1.89 a pound. They've got bottom round steaks, just $2.49 a pound. Ziegler's sliced bologna, 2 for $3. The sales go on and on and on. Right sliced bacon, and this is a big package, $5.98. Mike, you've been moving around. What are the high schools doing right now? I know you've been out with them. What's going on?
Well, nobody's doing anything this week. Everybody's in Montgomery for the coaches' clinics. So it's basically one of those things where everything will get back to normal next week. Every coach in the state of Alabama for every sport's got to be in Montgomery this week.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot going on. Stephen Curtis, congratulations to the newest district judge, Mike, and as he defeated Jana Blair Ellis in the runoff on Tuesday. And I tell you, Mike, that young man sat next to me several times during the race, and I was very impressed with him.
Yeah, Stephen's an old Troy guy, and obviously had a lot of support. He got a lot of votes, and credit everybody that was in that race. We had, we've known Ginger Green Nowlin for years and years, and then the Blair girl, from Pike County, and had a lot of support as well, and he found a way to win. So congratulations, and Stephen's a good guy, and best of luck to him, and I'm sure he'll do a good job.
Mike, the next time you're in Troy, I want to take you out to the 214-acre site of Rex Lumber. They had their grand opening just recently, and boy, a huge piece of ground has been developed.
Yeah, I saw they had about 20 people out there with shovels.
And let me tell you this, next time you're here, I want to show you, you will not believe how much flat ground that is that will be. Of course, the investment is over $100 million. It will create over 110 jobs. The county and the state are putting up over $750,000 in incentives. But it's a wonderful, wonderful project, and it's happening right here in Troy, Alabama. Want to mention, Mike, farewell to Sartain Hall, and ladies and gentlemen, if you did not see our show yesterday, we hope to be showing it maybe at the end of this show here, where we went out and did a lot of footage at Troy University yesterday, and I reviewed some of that footage last night, Mike, on the air, and Scott here did a wonderful job of editing and filming that event. And we're just as excited as we can be about this program that we put together to say farewell to Sartain Hall. I know you've been in there many, many times.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even want to have a job, and I did like construction work out there for a few weeks with Whaley Construction when they're expanding it one time as well. So I actually, you know, was a part of that a little bit, and you know, as a kid going to games and they're playing contests to Showtime where we had the dribbling, out there doing dribbling and spinning the ball on our fingers. The great Blake Crow putting on a show out there. He was always the top spinner, you know, of the ball on his finger, and we, you know, a lot of memories from painting the weight room when I was working in that department.
A lot of people didn't see that side of the Trojan Arena, did they? That basement.
I actually know that place probably better than most. I've been to, I think, every single little corner in every little room in that place. You know, worked for the athletic department.
Of course, you know, they had the weight room there, and it was sort of like a dungeon, but it was a real good place to get folks fired up. You know,
at halftime, I'd have to work the hospitality room for the ticket holders that had the
exactly
access, and I would pour Cokes and give out pizza and stuff like that. I mean, it's definitely been a big part of my life. I took a
weren't you sitting with me when they scored 258 points?
Yeah, I was at the 258-point game. I was at many of the NCAA playoff games. I was at a lot of the high school games there. I mean, shoot, I could probably go back to Sartain, with most people. I mean, not as far back as you, but definitely sad to see it go. But it's part of a growing university. When you see cranes and stuff on campuses, that means the campus is growing, is what people always tell me. So
no question about it. And
sad to see it go, though.
Exactly. In fact, I hope to show some footage on our show this morning. I was going to take a break in just a few moments, but we're so proud.
One thing I'll never understand about Sartain Hall is why in the world they never replaced the windows on the outside.
I know, the windows made it look like a high school. You're right.
And it could have they could have easily replaced those top windows up top. I never really understood that.
You're exactly right.
When I was a little kid, the Beach Boys being there and being out in that parking lot and just seeing all the cars.
Mike, I've seen all.
Listening to the music from the outside of the Sartain Hall when I was a little kid.
Mike, I've seen all of the great stars that came through there. Like you said, the Beach Boys, the Temptations have been through there. Ike and Tina Turner have been there, and of course, Pretty Woman's been there, Mike. Roy has been there. Roy, and what a great performance he always put on. The Righteous Brothers were there several different times. It was a great event for big name entertainment. Of course, it's where most everybody got their degree. Did you get your diploma from there?
Yeah, I was there.
And I remember one of the proudest moments of my life is when you picked up your college diploma there. And what I'm saying, we're bringing back old memories of the great Sartain Hall on the campus of Troy University. We had a great time filming that yesterday and or day before yesterday.
I think when it's all said and done, as far as an atmosphere in college basketball, it was a great gym. It wasn't big enough for graduation. It wasn't big enough for other things. But unfortunately, Troy has not come close to selling out the new arena, and maybe it's one of those things where for basketball we probably could have stayed that size, but for everything else we needed to grow, get bigger.
Yeah, no question about it. Troy Dixie Boys fell to Opelika in the state finals, Mike. The Dixie Boys lost 11-2 to Opelika on Tuesday's rematch, where Troy beat Opelika 3-1, but they played for the championship and the right to go to the World Series against a very good team from Opelika, and they failed. So that team had been eliminated, the Dixie Boys.
So these kids finally get to enjoy their summer like normal kids do?
That's right.
I tell you what, man, I feel for these kids that play baseball up until this late into the summer. I mean, I know they want to and they probably love it, but God knows you're a kid. Go to the beach. Go do something with your family.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Sometimes.
But
I told my wife the other day, I said, I've got 2 little girls, and I hope they enjoy sports from September to May, because after that we're cutting them off.
Yeah. Well, of course, that game was played in Enterprise, but it was the state final, and that Dixie Boys team went all the way to the state final. Here it is. The junior Dixie Boys also lost in the state finals. They lost to Fairhope, 14-2 and 7-4 in a game, and of course they have been eliminated, but they also were outstanding. That was Coach Jeffcoat, Billy Jeffcoat's team. Mike, you look at these coaches and you understand a little bit why these Troy teams are so good. Of course, congratulations to the junior Dixie Boys and the regular Dixie Boys putting on an outstanding effort in the state championship. So want to mention a few other things going on. Former Charles Henderson Trojan Jabronsky Williams has been looking at some different schools. Hopefully he'll land somewhere and be able to play football this fall. But again,
he's trying to play baseball.
Oh, is that why they? Oh yeah, baseball. He is a good athlete, no question about it.
Yeah, leaderboard right now at the Oakwood Championship. Kevin Kistner's 5 under. Other names, U.S. names, tied for 3rd is Jordan Spieth. Spieth won it last year. He's 3 under, which is a good sign for him. Ryan Moore is 3 under. Other names you'd like to see, Matt Kuchar's 2 under. Tony Finau's 2 under. Luke List is 1 under. And Mickelson doubles the par 3 going in and finishes +2.
Okay. Beautiful coverage of on Wednesday of the Rex Lumber Company grand opening and grand ceremonies, and that was really impressive. How many shovels were scooped, Mike? It was very impressive. Of course, I want to mention our good friends at Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Truck on the bypass, and they are dealing, believe you me, with some great deals on Dodge, and of course also great selection of Chryslers and Jeeps and Ram trucks at Premier Dodge right here in Troy. I want to mention a few other things. Of course, our good friends at Bird Drugs in downtown Troy, we appreciate their support of all these programs that we have here in Troy, rec programs and solid rec programs. There were 3 teams that played in the championship of the state Dixie Boys leagues, Mike. There were 3 teams that played for the right to play in the World Series, so they went that far. And then they've got a Dixie Bells team, which we're going to have a cake sale for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, right here on this show. They're going to the World Series to play. So, and I think
where's the World Series going to be?
In Louisiana, and I think we've got Nelson's team is still in it too, Mike. So we'll be talking more and more about that. Are we going to be able to run this tape? Are you ready to go?
It's going to show right after this show.
Okay, it's going to show right after this show. So I want all you people to watch this. I don't know if I've ever been more pleased with an at-random program that we put on 2 days ago on the campus of Troy University, where we moved around and showed all the buildings and the beauty of our great university right here in Troy, Alabama.
Why don't you pull out one of your magazines? And Tennessee was at SEC Media Day, and they're coached by Jeremy Pruitt.
Yeah.
Jeremy Pruitt left Alabama as defensive coordinator. You're saying that Phil Fulmer is going to be the coach as well, so it's the Fulmer-Pruitt coaching staff.
Well, let me tell you this. I would
go look at Tennessee's schedule right now. Let's pick Tennessee's record.
All right, we will. And I'll tell you this, too, and I was talking to somebody very knowledgeable, Mike, and they agreed with me. Bill Fulmer, now, don't get me wrong, Pruitt's an outstanding young coach and comes from a great background, but he, like you said yesterday, he had never coached a down as a head coach at a major college or any college or any
Tennessee against West Virginia, September 1st, CBS television. This game will be at Bank America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. You would think Tennessee would probably, have as many fans there as West Virginia. West Virginia is supposed to have one of their best teams in years.
That's right.
Of course, they had the quarterback transfer from Florida. It's his senior year. I'm going to take West Virginia to beat Tennessee. I think they'll just score too many points.
Where are they playing that game?
It's in Bank America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina.
All right, well, let me just say this. That's my first upset of the year is for Tennessee with this great defensive guru, Mike. Hey, can great offense beat great defense? That's the question.
Well, Tennessee is a 7-point underdog to West Virginia in this game. Okay.
And that's what I like even more. And the Tennessee Volunteers.
I'll take West Virginia. Next game is ETSU, East Tennessee State University Buccaneers are back in the football business at 1AA. Tennessee should beat them pretty soundly in Knoxville.
Yeah. All right, I've got them winning both the openers. All right, who do you like?
They're going to play UTEP Miners in Knoxville. I'm going to say they beat UTEP, so I got them going 2-1.
I got them there.
Then the Florida Gators come to town. That's Dan Mullen. I'm going to say that they lose to Florida in Knoxville.
I'm saying that they're going to beat Florida. I'm saying Tennessee's going to open up.
Jeremy Pruitt, a first-year coach.
Yeah.
4-0 to start the season.
And listen, my good friend out at Banks, say, listen, I know this is your son-in-law. He is a great young coach. I have all the respect in the world for him. So still be my buddy when I say that. I say again that Florida upsets Florida. Tennessee upsets Florida. That means they go 4-0 to start the season. And
then they travel to Georgia, play at Sanford Stadium. I would assume you think that's going to be a loss.
All right, they'll lose to Georgia, no question.
All right, so I got them starting 2-3. You got them starting 4-1. Then they go to Auburn. They'll lose to Auburn.
I say that, yeah.
Alabama comes to Tennessee. Alabama will beat Tennessee in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Then they have to travel to South Carolina. What do you think about that game? I think South Carolina beats them. You think South Carolina beats them?
Now I'm going to take Tennessee. I'm going to take Tennessee to win that game.
South Carolina.
That's South Carolina, yeah.
Carolina, a team that won 9 games last year.
Yeah, that's right. This is going to be a much improved Tennessee team.
Game last year. Remember that.
Oh, okay. All right, I still think this guy's is going to be a guru.
So right now you got Tennessee going 7-1.
Right now I've got them going. No, they lost 3 in a row now. They lost to Auburn, Alabama.
They lost to Auburn. They lost Georgia, Auburn, and Alabama. What a stretch!
Right. Boy, that is a tough stretch.
This stretch right here: Georgia, at Auburn. Wait a minute, at Georgia, at Auburn. Alabama comes to Knoxville, and then you go to South Carolina.
Well, let's back it up. Let's start with Florida. Florida, Georgia. Golly. Man, you're right. That's 5 of the toughest games in college football right there.
Then you got Charlotte, the 49ers, who can they can score some points, but they'll get beat in Knoxville. You got Kentucky coming over to play at.
I say they win.
I think Tennessee wins that game. Missouri in Knoxville.
I'm going to take Missouri. I think Missouri's going to be pretty good.
Too much offense. And then Vanderbilt at Vandy.
Tennessee will beat them.
I'm going to say Tennessee beats Vandy, yeah. So, let's see.
I've got them going 8-4.
Winning 1, 2. There's not many games. I got them winning 3, 4. I got them going 5 and 7.
Yeah, exactly. I've got them going 8-4. So, Jeremy Pruitt.
I tell you what, if they go 8-4, there's going to be Tennessee fans jumping up and down.
They are. Oh, Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. All right, Mike Amos is on the phone, and we're going to take a short break. Guys, I'm glowing up here. Am I glowing in the home? I hope not.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance.
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how, Napa know-how.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Cinco Drugs on the corner in downtown Troy. And, of course, been there for years. Charles Cinco has been the druggist, and now it's owned and operated by Walt and Kristen Sanders, good friends of mine. Beautiful store. The old Birdwater store, is, of course, has been Cinco Drugs for a long time. And let me say this, people. These pharmacists are good friends. I have seen more than once Joe Watson walking halfway across beyond the square and meeting Charles Cinco, his very good friend, very big Auburn fan and Auburn supporter, both of them, because they went to pharmacy school at Auburn. Very good friends, and I've seen them share moments together, and I've seen them share when one of them was running low, the other one will pick it up, you know, whatever. But they are good friends, and it's been, I know Birds has been there since 1940, since Mr. Bird was there, and of course he was there prior to that. Drugstores in Troy go way back, and the lovely and very sweet wife of Joe Watson, Evelyn Bird Watson, wrote a book about the history of drugstores in Troy, and it is really interesting, and you can pick one up at Bird Drugs today. And of course, great drugstore, great food, just great people. It makes Troy a very unique city when you got a place like Bird Drugs and Cinco Drugs, where you can just walk in and you know the pharmacist right off the bat. They're still buzzing down in Dothan, where Clay Holmes, a native of Slocum, he was a what we call a red top, which are those delicious tomatoes. They're the only school I know that are named after, their nicknames named after a tomato. But he won that game recently against Milwaukee, and a lot of folks down there are still talking about it. Mike Amos will be rejoining us in a moment. We still haven't finished with all of the predictions, and we're going through them right now. And what we're going to do, we're going to go over here to Missouri, and ladies and gentlemen, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, Missouri is my sleeper team of the year. I think they're going to have a good year. They were 7-6 last year, but they've got a quarterback that can make it happen, and that's Drew Lock. And all I need to do is just tell you that Lock threw for right at 4,000 yards and 44 touchdowns with only 13 interceptions last year, and completed right at 60% of his passes. So he is a great quarterback, and if you get a few good players around him, Missouri, especially at home, is going to be tough. I say they'll beat UT Martin to start the year. Smart scheduling here. I think they'll beat Wyoming the next game, so they'll start off 2-0. Then they'll play away at Purdue. Purdue's supposed to have a better team, and they're well coached. I'm going to predict a loss there. Then they've got to play at home to Georgia, and I think Georgia will win it. They'll go 2-2 to open the season. Then they'll play at South Carolina, and I'm going to pick Missouri to beat South Carolina. Okay, then they travel to Alabama. They'll lose at Alabama. They go to Memphis, or they play at home to Memphis in a good ball game. I'm going to take Missouri, so I've got them heading off right off the bat, 4-3, which is pretty good. And then they play at home to Kentucky. They'll beat Kentucky. They got to travel to Florida, and I'll say Florida will win that one. So right now, I've got them at 4-5. Then they'll play Vanderbilt at home, and I'll say they'll beat Vanderbilt, so they're 5-5. Then they got two big games with Tennessee and Arkansas to end the season. They're at Tennessee, and I'm going to have to go with Tennessee there. And they play Arkansas at home, and I'm going to take Arkansas. I've got them going 6-6 on the year, with most of the road games being tough as it is in the SEC. It is hard to win on the road in the SEC. So right off the bat this morning, Mike and I have had some differences. I've got Tennessee going 8-4 and Missouri going 6-6. So we'll be going over Mike's picks on that before long. Of course, the show is brought to you by Troy Bank and Trust Company, the only bank you'll ever need with 12 locations throughout Troy and surrounding areas. In fact, there is a Troy Bank and Trust Company location in Dothan, in Auburn, in Enterprise, in Elba, in Brundage, in Goshen, in New Brockton, in Elba, let's see here, 3 in Troy, and we've got another location in the great Purple City, and 12 locations all over the Wiregrass, and we appreciate them very much. And I tell you what, Troy Bank and Trust Company is expanding everywhere. I want to mention several other things going on. I mentioned a few weeks ago that Troy was going to get a Jack's. I'm still here that is going to happen. Jack's Hamburgers is moving to Troy. The Cookout has already moved to Troy. Also, if you haven't tried it, you need to. The Wonderful Chicken located at they've moved across town. We're talking about Crow's Chicken, and but they've got the same great chicken that you'll find that you have enjoyed for so many years on the bypass. So you're looking for Crow's Chicken. It is outstanding. Talking about championships, they've got the Chicken Shack in Luverne and Red's Little Schoolhouse restaurant are in the finals of the best fried chicken in the country. And of course, Red sort of cheated the other day because they had Bo Cephas came over there to eat with them and talk about how good their chicken was. I ate this week at Martin's, and boy, it was hard to beat them. They were out of pulley bones, but I had their breast, and there were 2 huge breasts that covered my plate. And yes, I did get a piece of that coconut pie. Yes, I did get some of that great cornbread muffins. And yes, I did get that wonderful relish that if you ask for it, they'll bring it to you. It is a great place to eat, but all these places are, and we appreciate them very much. Of course, also we've got several things going on right now in our community, and some restaurants coming in, and the Trojan Zone is scheduled to be under construction or renovation in the next few days, and boy, won't that be a great addition to downtown Troy, is to have those delicious chicken wings right here in downtown Troy. And of course, a lot of restaurants are located around the square, and we appreciate them very much. Of course, again, I want to mention our friends at Troy Nissan on the bypass in Troy, and they've got a great selection of Nissan cars and trucks to choose from. Troy Nissan has been around a long time. Dwayne Webbs is one of my very good friends, and boy, they've done very well in the Nissan business right here in Troy, and we appreciate it very much. I want to also mention that if you're looking for great food, I recommend Sister's Restaurant on the bypass in Troy. Of course, they have their buffet today. There'll be hundreds of people out there enjoying that food, and their food is always good. And let me tell you this, even though it shows buffet, you can still get a meat and 3 meal at Sister's. Good morning, you're on Today in LA.
Hey, Mike, Will Matthews.
Will Matthews, won't you please come home? All right, buddy. What's going on?
Well, they're playing over there in Scotland.
Yeah, and right now, has anybody shot that 72 like you shot over there?
Oh, there's Kevin Kisner shot 500 today.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, that you've been there and done that. Of course, you played that course a few times. You know, everybody said they hit it in the trap. Well, the trap in England looks like a bum had hit it. I mean, it's a different type of sand trap. Isn't that right?
Mike, it's basically a one-stroke penalty when you hit in there.
I mean, really, it is hard to get out of there, and it looks like a trap that was made to put a machine gun in, wouldn't it?
That's exactly right, and when you get in one, you can hit a sand wedge and blast it out, and that's all you can do. So if you're in a fairway bunker and you're 150 or 200 yards away from the green, you can't advance it more than 20 or 30 yards.
Will, I've got some personal news to bring you today. I was in Birmingham yesterday and at Dr. DeWitt's office, and guess who's retiring, Will? And she wanted you to know about it. Did you know that? Hey, Will. Will, are you still on?
Yeah, I guess Lori Phelps.
Lori Phelps, our sweet nurse at Dr. DeWitt's office, is retiring.
She's worked for him for 25 years, probably.
But we're going to be talking about her and that great, the great doctor he is. We're going to be talking about him on our show. And I told him, I said, Dr. DeWitt, Will Matthews calls our show all the time, and you operated on both of us, so this ought to be some good advertisement for you.
I tell you what, he's got all the customers and patients he could ever want, just about it. He's the best. He's one of the top surgeons in the South.
Yeah, and you know, it's always, somebody was asking me the other day about Dr. Jones. You know, Dr. Jones that just recently died, and we talked about him last week, what a great man he was. He had big old hands, and how in the world could he get his big old hands in somebody's mouth to do a filling or whatever? And you ought to, ladies and gentlemen, if you think Dr. Jones was a, you know, he wasn't a real large guy, but Dr. DeWitt, he'd probably weigh 300 pounds, wouldn't you think?
Oh yeah, he's a big guy. Yeah.
Well, I played football at University of North Alabama, and he's one of the best pediatric surgeons in the world, isn't he?
And he is a really nice fella too. Yeah.
I will say this right now about him. He's a doctor of pediatric medicine in Birmingham. He is well known all over the country. But if you're overweight and you're diabetic, you need to talk to Dr. DeWitt. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
He can change things around for you like he did for me and Will Matthews. People don't realize that we have a lot in common, do they, Will?
I'll tell you something funny. You know, I lost probably 60 pounds, 65 pounds, whatever. And the first time I went out to play golf, I could not hit the ball straight to save my life because I'd always depended on my weight
Yeah.
to hit the ball, you know, my weight shift.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I was spraying it out. You know, I had to relearn how to hit a golf ball after I lost all that weight.
No question about it, and I know he's a friend of mine and yours, and he has turned us around quite a bit, and I know he's turned you around. You were at one time taking several shots for diabetes, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I was taking 250 units of insulin a day.
Yeah, and when you got out of surgery, how much were you taking?
Well, I didn't take insulin for 3 years.
Yeah. I know it's been real great, especially for your health. Tell us about your law practice, and of course we'll get into the politics part of it in a minute. But you got a wonderful, wonderful addition. Her name is Elizabeth Matthews. Yeah. And Will, how can a guy like you have such a sweet daughter?
Well, she played in the band at Alabama. She was in the $1 Million Band for 4 years. She was the #1 piccolo player. She played piccolo, and she was first chair. And then she went to law school at Ole Miss and graduated at the top of her class. She's a brilliant, brilliant lawyer.
Did she get being smart from her mama or from you?
Oh, it's all me. The brains are for me, the looks are for her mother.
And of course, did she grow up wanting to be a lawyer? You know, since her granddaddy and her daddy were lawyers.
Yeah.
Will, tell us about the Republican Party and tell us about the recent election.
There were a lot of upsets, but I'm gonna tell you something, Mike. If you got the money, the person with the most money won every election Tuesday.
Is it because of television or what?
Television, it's all television, yes. That's all they do anymore. I mean, you know, you might as well not even get out of your car and ask somebody to vote for you. You go on TV, you'll get 50 votes to 5 talking.
Well, one of those races was the Attorney General's race with Troy King, and
Troy King got outspent by $2 or $3 million in that race.
And of course, the guy that won that race, a handsome guy from North Alabama, had just lost his wife very tragically. You know, and he not only was going to get the North Alabama vote, but he probably got a lot of South Alabama votes because people were feeling for he and his family.
Oh yeah, well that's no question. That had something to do with alcohol.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: Troy King, his main protest during the whole election was that this guy was not a real Republican. Explain that.
Well, he ran for DA up there in that county, those counties up there for years, as a Democrat. Every time he got elected, he was a Democrat.
Yeah.
So then he decided to run for Attorney General as a Republican. Well, he got appointed by Governor Ivey.
Yeah, I got you. That's what happened.
He was actually a Democrat and got appointed by Governor Ivey, so then he became a Republican, and then he ran as a Republican, and he won. so he's a Republican now.
Okay, Will, Stephen Curtis, he wins the judge's race in Troy and Pike County. He's an outstanding young person, wouldn't you think?
Yes. Now who did he beat for that?
He beat, oh gosh. Man, I know it well.
The green girl?
Yeah, no, January, oh, poo. Excuse me.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
he
but
won. The Curtis boy won.
Yeah, he won. And, of course, this young lady ran him a good race. And, of course, both of them were Republicans, so the Republican Party has to be feel good about it. Her name is, they call her Jana. Her real name is January Blair Ellis, and of course, you know, her uncle Curtis Blair has been in politics in Pike County for years and years. Of course, she's an attorney, and she'll go back to a successful legal practice. And Stephen worked with the great Calhoun and Falk, you know, as an attorney. Now he'll have to be full-time judge. Don't you agree?
That's right, and his law practice is over.
Yeah.
You can't practice law. Now I can practice law and be a judge, but he can't. He's full-time.
All right. Oh, I was wondering about that. Why do you say that, Will?
I'm appointed judge, city judge.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And now, one thing, and ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the reasons why this is such a lucrative job and position is he becomes a member of the state retirement party, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, that's.
I mean, you know, these judges get state retirement, which is a huge benefit.
No, they get 75% of their salary for life, and they don't have to work, so that's pretty strong.
Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Westfall just walked in. I ought to get down on my knees. He did a fabulous job on this production that we're going to be running right after the show today. Will Matthews is on our phone today, and of course, Will, did Roe v. Election surprise you, or what do you think happened there?
Well, she had $4 million and Bright had 400,000, so that's the difference.
And you know, and the telephone rang over and over and over, and the TV ran over and over and over, and that name recognition all over the state, that ends up, it all comes down to name recognition, doesn't it?
Well, when somebody goes in there, they see that name and they just pop it, you know, without even thinking.
No question about it. Of course, Will Matthews is our guest, and Will, we were talking today about Sartain Hall, the great arena at Troy University for years and years. As a young man growing up in Ozark, did you ever have any reason to go to the Trojan Arena for anything, like a basketball game or graduation or anything like that?
Now, I went to some basketball games when I was a teenager with my daddy. My daddy loved basketball.
Yeah, oh yeah.
When Coach Archer was coaching.
That's right. So your daddy was a big fan of Coach Archer?
Oh yeah, and he was a big fan of Vandy basketball.
Yeah, no question about it.
Roy Skinner and him were best friends.
All right. The Vanderbilt Commodores, Fosnitz, Spears, and Ford. The F Troop. Who was the other one?
Well, you had the starting five was Fosnitz, Spears, and Ford. You had Jan Van Bredekoff was a 6'9" guard.
That's right, and his daddy was the coach.
And the other guy was a 6'5" forward named Bill Ligon. He was a black player.
You're right, and boy,
that was the starting five. Yeah. They won the SEC, Mike. Back then, they played the 18-game round robin.
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly.
Vanderbilt was 16-2 in the conference. Alabama had the best team they ever had. They were 16-2.
I was at that game. It was on a Saturday or a Sunday in Tuscaloosa. Was you at that game?
Yeah, I was at the game, Terry Compton, he was a reserve player for Vanderbilt, stole the ball from T.R. Dunn and went in for a layup, and Vandy beat him by 2 points.
To me, that was the SEC was great basketball, and that game there was a fabulous game. But I'll tell you how you won the game. Y'all shot 90% from the free throw line. Vanderbilt, you didn't foul them back then. If you fouled them, you were gonna get beat.
Yeah, and Vandy had won the previous game in Nashville by 2 points. So Alabama lost 2 games by 2 points, and back then, guess how many teams went to the NCAA tournament?
A bunch.
1.
Oh, is that right?
And as a result of that game, the NCAA opened the tournament up, to more teams. And back then, they had like 16 teams in it.
Yeah.
No, they didn't,
It's amazing. Now, let me ask you this. Memorial Gymnasium on the campus of Vanderbilt University, it would hold over 15,000 people. There were 2 crazy things about it, though. 2 crazy things about it, Will. One thing about it, the scoring people that kept up with the scoring and ran the clock and all that, they sat below the floor. The floor was the table that they sat under. Why was that? And also, why did Vanderbilt? No other team in the country did it, to my knowledge, where the teams would have the bench at the end of the court, parallel to the backboard.
I know it's unique. The guy that designed and every seat in that stadium, Mike, every seat, even the worst seat in the upper deck,
sold out.
It is less than 100 feet from the floor.
Oh man!
It goes straight up. So you got the best view.
Yeah. And I'll tell you another thing about it. It had the best view, but the bleachers were dark. I mean, hey, the light was just on the floor. The rest of the bleachers, you remember that, was dark.
Yes. And one thing, the baskets, all the baskets now don't have supports underneath the basket.
Yeah.
But Vanderbilt was the first one. The basket supports are like 25 feet out, and then the basket comes off of that. So to play underneath the basket, nobody ever gets involved.
But you did agree with me that it's a very unique situation, and why in the world that it was built like that, I don't know.
So the guy designed it that way, and he was a
Okay. Back in those days, back in the early days of good basketball, Kentucky had a guy named Cotton Nash. All right, Vanderbilt had a guy, a 7-footer, named who? Do you know, Will?
Are you talking about Clyde Lee?
You're exactly right, my friend. Clyde Lee.
Clyde Lee was from Nashville, and
but they had some wars against each other, Clyde Lee and Cotton Nash, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
And then one of the reasons you liked Vanderbilt basketball, you had a kid from Ozark went up there and played, didn't he? Didn't that young man, didn't that kid from Ozark play for Vanderbilt?
Yeah, Glenn Butler.
Glenn Butler, who later, he's a Methodist preacher from somewhere around here, isn't he?
He's been, you know how they move preachers around.
Yeah.
You know how they move preachers around. He's been to Wetumpka, Enterprise. I think now he's in the Mobile area now.
Yeah, no question about it. We appreciate Marco's this morning for fine pizza. And the Messenger, don't live in Troy without the Messenger. One of my favorite people, Will, is the former Carroll High basketball coach who taught defense as good as anybody in the country. And somebody told me that he still goes to almost every basketball game around.
Cecil Skinner.
Cecil Skinner, the great Cecil Skinner. And he put together some pretty good basketball teams. In fact, your cousin, Sam, was a heck of a guard for him, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, and I think he hurt his shoulder, and that, you know, that ended that.
Sam Carroll is who we're talking about, but you know, but you know, another thing about your basketball coach is he came to Ozark and he stayed. You know what I mean? He liked Ozark and he stayed at Ozark for several years. Don't you agree?
Yeah, he did, and he came out of Selma. He played at Selma.
That's right. He played for the great one, Mike.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you who that is. It's Comer Sims. Comer Sims at A.G. Parish High School of Selma, won 88 straight games at one time. And now he came out of Camden too, though. You know, he was from Camden, Alabama, the Ozark coach.
He coached, I think, up there.
Yeah, that's right. He coached up there. Yeah, and of course
He had a long coaching career.
Yeah.
He's somewhere around 80 years old now.
Yeah.
I tell you who I ran into at the Domino tournament was the longtime coach of Kinston.
Oh yeah, Coach Purnell.
And he was there.
Oh.
And I got tickled. I said, Coach, you're not gonna remember this, but I went in for a layup at Kinston, and this guy undercut me, and I landed on my head, and the next thing I knew, I was at Lister Army Hospital in Fort Rucker. Because that was the closest, you know,
Yeah, I got you.
hospital they could get me to. Now, it turned out I was okay, and he did remember that. He coached.
Well, see, back in those days, you know, Kinston did not play football back then, and you had Kinston, you had New Brockton with all those great players, Pleasant Home with those great players, Strawn had great players, you know, and
he played big schools, Mike.
Coffee Springs had great players, you know, they had the great player that ended up playing at Enterprise, you know. And but it was a great bunch of basketball used to be played in that area. No question about it. And Will Matthews is our guest today. And Will, you finished 5th in the world, is that right?
5th in the singles and then 5th in the doubles the next day.
And of course, you evidently felt pretty good about it, didn't you?
Yeah, early the doubles because my partner was not as good as you just get, it's pure luck who you get.
Yeah.
You know, one year I got Billy Welch, who's one of the top players, and he's from over there in Tallahassee.
So you think that's the key, is getting a good partner, is that right?
Well, it's just pure luck who you draw. But me and Billy did not lose a game the whole day. Yeah. And it's 2 out of 3 matches. We won 2-0, 2-0, 2-0.
Somebody told me that somebody told me that the Murphy group from Troy, Tom and Andy did real well.
Andy did. I don't know about Tom.
But of course, Andy Murphy.
Yeah.
You know, and when I mentioned this about Andy, they said, "No way, Andy Murphy's not one of the great domino players in the world." Will, how would you rate Andy Murphy from Troy, Alabama, as far as a domino player?
Well, I got lucky one year and drew him as a partner, and we went all the way to the finals and lost the final. One game, lost one game, then lost in the final game, so we came in second.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Well, you know, people in Troy talk about it, say, golly, they play dominoes out at the country club, and they'll be in there and said, well, they need another player. And people were sort of intimidated by Andy. I mean, you know, does Andy want me as his partner? You know what I mean? You know, because it's just like with you down there. Everybody wants a good partner. And I played dominoes a lot over the years, but I'm not good enough to be Andy's partner, I don't think.
Well, the way we play 3-game rings, and you'll play with everybody.
Yeah.
There'll be 4 of you playing, you'll play with each person 1 game.
All right, now they had the World Championship in Andalusia, ladies and gentlemen, and a lot of people were there, and it was very well done, and it's just wonderful for that town of Andalusia, Alabama. But now, why don't you just turn around and have one in Ozark? You could do it very easily, couldn't you?
Well, I don't know. People can't take that much time off.
Well, I would say this: if you got a lot of prize money, I bet you could bring them in there, couldn't you?
Probably could.
Now, of course, did you do well outside of the tournament? Did you play a lot of matches?
Yeah, I had a good time. Yes.
Okay, and of course they were. So if you were out in Little Rock, Arkansas, and Arkansas evidently is a big place for dominoes, like Kansas City or somewhere like that, would they know who you were? Or would they be whispering, "That's Will Matthews from Ozark"? Man, hey.
Well, the Kansas City folks know me because they've been coming to Andalusia for 30-something years.
Exactly.
You know?
But, you know, for a lot of people that don't play dominoes, Andalusia is a well-kept secret as far as being one of the top domino venues in the country, or maybe in the world. What do you think?
It's a well-kept secret, except for that second week in July, because everybody's coming. You know Earl Johnson.
I know him real well. The mayor, good friend of mine.
Anyway, I said, Earl, what do you think this does for the economy of Andalusia? He just smiled. He said it fills up every hotel. It fills up every restaurant. And even like the fast food restaurants, their business probably tripled.
Oh yeah, no question.
Like McDonald's or Hardee's or whatever, you know.
And they have an indoor facility there that is next to none in Rodeo, isn't it? Isn't that right?
No, it's real nice. It is.
And of course, we're talking about Andalusia, Alabama, and the World Championship of Dominoes. And, you know, you're talking about the mayor there. He's been very innovative, and Andalusia's a fine little town. Of course, I don't know if you've noticed their airport facilities are some of the best of any small town around. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, the airport between Andalusia and Op you're talking about.
That's right, yeah.
And you know, I think Fort Rucker's got some facilities out there too. They fly helicopters over there.
Well, let me tell you one thing about the mayor. He's a lawyer just like you are and have been that way for a long time. Y'all probably been in front of each other in court, haven't you?
We've been on the same side a couple of times. I've never gone against him.
Talking about Earl Johnson, the mayor of Andalusia. But he's got great vision. He is the reason that Troy University has the beautiful pedestrian park in front of Bill Graves Hall, has a huge fountain and the Trojan statue and all that. The reason for that is Earl Johnson from Andalusia, Alabama, walked out of a meeting one day, and it was a bunch of old, beat-up old pecan trees. I know a lot of people like that tradition. But he said, man, we need to do something. He said, I'll build this fountain. And with his own money, he put up a bunch of money to build the fountain. And they've got a fabulous park around it. Have you ever noticed that at Troy?
And that statue is that silver statue.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the Trojan, that is really good. I like that.
Oh, it's really done. And you know who did it? A man from Florella, Alabama. I don't know its name right off the bat. The sculptor from Florella, Alabama, built that statue.
Right.
So that's amazing. Will, as always, we enjoy your conversation. Who's going to win this British Open?
You know, I don't know. I tell you what, I have a gut feeling that Tiger Woods is going to make a run at this thing. I've got a gut feeling.
Yeah. Well, he's well known and well loved over there. You know, one thing about Tiger more than anything, he doesn't slander the game by any means. As far as you know, golf history means a lot to him.
Yeah, and he's won 14 major championships.
Yeah.
You know, you got to think he's back. You got to think he's going to win one along the way sometime. You know.
Well, of course, it's good to get off to a good start, and there are a lot of great players out there. All the great players are playing this week, aren't they?
Yeah, I watched some of it this morning. Mickelson's 2 over after 18.
How cold is it over there this morning? How cold?
They're in shirt sleeves.
Oh,
it's
really?
75 degrees. There's not a cloud in the sky. The wind's not blowing. And, you know, if anybody's going to burn it up, they're going to burn it up today.
Yeah. You played over there many times, and the weather conditions will dictate how well you play, though. Don't you agree?
Well, I played it one time in a 40-mile-an-hour wind in a college tournament.
Yeah.
I played that course one time and played the round of my life, and I was the only golfer in the field to break 80. So that's
Colin McCrary is playing over there from Troy. You know, I think he just paid his own way to go over there just to do this, but he's working with the tournament. And what he does, he advises the camera crews and so forth on where the ball is laying and what club they're going to use. And I asked my dad, I said, how do you know? He said, you just know. Now, you, Godfrey, can you recognize a club from 50 yards away? Or I know they're a lot closer than that.
Yeah. Well, if you got binoculars or something, you can put them on.
But they're a lot closer. He gets within 5 to 10 feet of the players, so he pretty much can hear the player and the caddy talking.
Right.
Well, Will, thank you so much for calling this morning. We appreciate you. We've got a cake auction on our show tomorrow. And call us next week and talk to us about a little football. Will Matthews calling from Ozark this morning. And ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate Dixieland Dental, located 9 miles of Dothan. And we appreciate them very much. And want to also mention, is that my preacher out there? Yeah. I want to mention this show that is about to be presented to you. Scott Westfall and I were sitting around the other day, and we were talking about this the grand gymnasium, the Trojan Arena, the Sartain Hall was going to be taken down because of space they need for this new facility, the health facility on the campus of Troy University. And we went about this and we ended up making a program out of it. I'm very proud of this, but I'm more proud of Scott Westfall, who put this thing together as far as the went back and edited it and did a super job. I think you'll agree this is one of the better productions we have ever done at Troy Cable. I'm proud of it. Scott's proud of it. Steve, I hope, is proud of it. And the staff and the management of Troy Cable. This is a Troy Cable production of the growth and prosperity of Troy University.